Welcome all our faithful viewers back to 2Brothers podcast. My name is Vincent Levitt, the one and only. And next to me right now is the old dirty bastard himself, Malik Patterson. How you doing, brother man?
Why I gotta be OTV?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
good.
better.
If I was gonna say,
No, you don't get to be
I was
Method
gonna say
Man.
Method Man, then you already
No.
knew it was gonna happen.
No, you got now.
Hey, why not? Why? Nah. Oh shit, old dirty bastard coming out of my head. I gotta relax.
But on to some more pressing news. There's actually in the time off that we had, in like about the week of not recording, there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. So one of the first things that happened was like NASCAR was standing behind Bubba Wallace, and we've already touched on NASCAR last episode, and the race car driver that retired, but he was really a nobody. So with this whole Bubba Wallace thing, the FBI said that they did an investigation, and the investigation, during the investigation, they said it was not a hate crime. They said that the rope was there all the way back in, the rope has been there since October 2019. My issue is whether the rope has been there and they didn't place the rope after Bubba Wallace got assigned the garage. How come that rope is only in one garage? I've done my research. No other garage so far that they haven't announced that any other garage has a rope. Specifically in that same area, it's just that one garage that has that rope. And for two, who lets a rope hang there? Like, what's the exact purpose of that rope? Because if it's to let the garage down, then all of the garages would have a rope, and this would never be a problem because a NASCAR official reported it. A lot of people were getting on Bubba Wallace and saying that he was the new Jussie Smollett, but the whole thing about it is Jussie made up a story for clout. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. I'm just giving you straight up facts. Bubba Wallace never saw the rope. It was reported to Bubba Wallace and his team by a NASCAR official. So the NASCAR official did his job and did his due diligence, reported it to NASCAR. NASCAR made an official statement because it looks like, from a blind eye, it looks like a noose. So they did an official statement and they started doing. Say it again.
Call it what it is. Like you saying it's a rope, but like we all know it was a noose. Ain't no way in hell just like one string of rope is just hanging just like this on the table for any purpose. It has to be there for a reason. And the fact that they call it just like a rope, you can tell something. You just tell us a cover up story. Something's not right. Something's not right in the pudding right now. Like put two and two together. Like you mentioned earlier, how like if there was rope in this garage, this assigned garage, there should be ropes in all the other assigned garages. But the fact that NASCAR officials pointed this out made it even worse. I'm telling you, this is a cover up. This is something that's being covered up right now. Exactly. Somebody's baking and trying to be big right now. That's all this is.
My whole thing. Another point is, if the rope has been there since October of last year, then how come? And you guys knew about it, or some people knew about it, or whatever the case may be, since it's not a big deal, why was he assigned that particular garage then?
So what did the person beforehand too? Like before Bubba Watson was using this said garage, did they know the rope was there too or not?
I don't know. I just think it's like really ridiculous how people are looking for anything as clickbait and trying to make up whatever story they want to believe behind it and will run with anything. Like they're just immediately calling him Jussie Smollett and not looking at the facts of the story. And the facts of the story is Bubba Wallace never reported it, but they're trying to say that he made up a story. I can't make up a story if I never reported it. Yeah, I'm going on different platforms and doing interviews about it and how I feel about the quote unquote said hate crime, but that's after it was already reported to me, after they already said that they're going to do an investigation by it. So, like, they did their investigation. Turns out it's not a hate crime. Whatever. NASCAR still stood behind him. So I still applaud NASCAR for still standing behind him. And whether it was a hate crime or not, like, things got handled the way that it was supposed to be handled. So I find it utterly disgusting how Kobe hasn't been off the face of the planet. I mean, hasn't been, buried long enough, and now people are already trying to sell memorabilia of him, such as this footage. So let me give you a backstory. So this dude named Stu Ross, who produced a nationally syndicated show in 35 cities across the U.S., and it was called High School Sports Show, has 22 hours of footage of Kobe playing basketball for Laura Marion High School, which is located in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And it's just footage of him playing ball for the school and interviews of him. But anyway, needless to say, the report says that he's done videos on countless other celebrities such as Tom Brady, Michael Phelps, Ryan Braun, Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James. Like he has a really diverse big catalog of these athletes in high school. Cool. Nonetheless, this man is deceased. How come you weren't trying to sell these 22 hours of footage while he was still alive? How come you didn't try to sell it to him? How come you didn't give it to him? My thing is, and the price point that they're selling it, because they're supposed to be selling it this month on July 26th is when they're supposed to be selling it. No, my bad. July 23rd is when they're supposed to be selling it. I'm 3 days off. But anyway, and the starting price point is supposed to be $250,000. $250,000 to $350,000 is how much they're going to be selling this. My issue is, one, did you ask the family of the deceased player or any of the people who played with him at Laura Marion if it was okay for you to sell this footage? Because, yeah, I understand you're filming it and you did it for your show. Cool. But now that this man has passed away and you're doing exclusive footage of him, I feel like his family should now have the rights to that footage. Did you ask the family for the rights to that footage, or are you giving them a percentage? Are you giving his daughters any percentage? Are you or is it going to charity, or are you just pocketing all this money? Because you're profiting off of this. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think it's sick because you're profiting off of a dead man who hasn't even been dead for a full year yet.
It's the call. It's like how people wear the mask or don't choose to wear a mask out in public right now. It's just showing like you're kind of selfish for that. I try to see the optimistic side of people. Maybe he is like he's used his money for a good cause. Help rebuild Lower Marion gym basketball. I don't know, but he's the only one that can tell me that answer.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first read the headline, I felt sick to my stomach because it's not just him, but it's a lot of other people who try to profit off of the deceased. I know this is more of a sports podcast, but you really truly, I know your family kind of knew his family a little bit, but same thing with Nipsey, how shortly after he passed, there was a bunch of fake The Marathon Continues shirts and stuff going up for sale, and everybody is just profiting off of that. None of that's going to the family. None of that's going to his children, going to Lauren London. None of that money was going to a good cause. It was just going in your pocket, and you were ripping off his brand. You get what I'm saying? Now, not to mention, there was back order because so many people were trying to buy clothing from his brand after he passed. But I feel profiting off of somebody who passed and profiting, you gonna rep the Crenshaw shirt, dude? Profiting off of somebody who passed, and especially so untimely, when it's such a short window that they just were deceased and was laid to rest and everything, and now you're trying to turn $1 off of them. I think it's just utterly sick to me. If you didn't at least attempt to try to do it when they were alive and have that conversation with that person, then you shouldn't do that when they're gone, because now, you knew they would say no when they were alive. So now you're doing it because they don't have the opportunity to say no now.
Exactly. It's true. I'm kind of surprised about it now. it's like the idea that somebody can keep the money like that kind of it rubs me the wrong way. But I want to say I'm not surprised because you said that you did say like this guy he hasn't been known for like throughout the school at Lower Merion and stuff. He's the coach, right? Or is it like somebody who does like a
no
constant like videos like highlight?
He just had like a media show about star high school athletes.
Oh, see if that's okay. I'm thinking it's like somebody who knew the family like for like years.
Hello.
Even still, if you have this video of the family, you should at least give it to have at least let the family get first crack at it. Or at least like if they want to have it, if not, then you can sell it to the family. Like something along that lines. Don't bid it for auction. Don't bid it for auction. It's not a good look. Not a good look.
So, since we're already talking about the greatest Laker that ever played, how do you feel about J.R. Smith becoming a Laker and the potential rest of the season that's supposed to start at the end of this month? Well, end of next month, because today's the 30th of June. So, end of July.
His I get you. I was like, I want to call it like it's a scheme fit, you know. Where besides LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rondo, let's see. I guess you consider McGee because he did play with the Warriors. Who else has championship like pedigree, you know, on the team? Like who else has been through the fire and back? Who was in the trenches while the bullets were firing, so to speak, when the playoff time comes around? Not really nobody else. Granted, the talent level may be a little bit, you know, I say it's a decrease compared to Avery Bradley to J.R. Smith, but at the end of the day, that championship pedigree does matter. So I do like it, but I don't feel like it's going to be. I feel like they should have been working out the kinks a lot right before COVID began this, instead of as a substitution, so to speak. Because this is a substitution. They're taking Avery Bradley out and then replacing him with J.R. Smith. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, they are. So Avery Bradley decided because Avery Bradley decided he's going to sit out along with a few other NBA stars, and they have the right to do so. From Adam Silver. Adam Silver said if anybody feels uncomfortable going into this bubble or whatever, then they do have the right to sit out. And the Lakers, and it kind of opens up free agency, so to speak, and opens up still signing players because the whole transition. So they didn't drop Avery Bradley. He's still on the team. He's just not going to be performing. But since he's not going to be playing, it's pretty much like if he was suspended, they get the chance to replace his roster spot with someone else. So, I mean, the talent, like you said, the talent level is a decrease to me. I do like JR. I've always liked JR, but he's not the same JR that like everybody grew to love, like the JR that played in Denver or played in New York. And he had glimpses of that in Cleveland during the championship runs, or at least the finals runs that they were doing. So we'll see. I mean, I still think now that Avery Bradley's not going to be playing, I think Alex Caruso is going to step up more. I know you're not a big fan of Caruso, but I think he's going to step up more. I think KCP needs to really assert himself as the starting number two. But I mean, if he wants to be the starting number two, I've been an advocate on getting rid of KCP for a while. I've been on that train. When we shipped people off to New Orleans, I thought he should have been on that shipment, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, let me ask you this thing: Do you believe that the Lakers made the right choice in trading Kuzma instead of Brandon Ingram, or do you think that was the right choice?
Keeping Kuzma instead of Brandon Ingram?
As a Laker fan, so to speak.
I still like Kuzma. I still think Kuzma had the most upside out of the four of them, even though like I was a big Lonzo fan, but I mean, he's kind of one of the focal selling points was Lonzo and either Kuzma or Lonzo and Brandon Ingram. I don't think any team entertains it if you don't have Lonzo in the picture or if you don't have one of those big other two. Now, I do like Josh Hart because Josh Hart was the fourth one out of all the trade rumors, but he usually came off the bench. So it was just a valuable asset off the bench. And everybody knew that like the Lakers were going to get rid of Kuzma and Brandon Ingram and then keep Lonzo. Like it just didn't sound logical. So I do like Kuzma. I think he did take a step back this year, though. I will admit that he did take a step back, and Brandon Ingram did take a step forward in individual development roles. Where Kuzma is headed to me right now, he's headed down the road of Lamar Odom, and I don't like it. And the reason why I say that is because Lamar Odom really only shined when Kobe or Powell weren't playing, or if they were like on the bench getting rest. And then that's when Lamar really started to like shine, when he was the focal point in the offense. And we didn't need
Lamar. You say Kuzma. Exactly.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. It's like Kuzma's is trending towards that sixth man of the year type role. Now I see him a lot better than Lamar Odom ever was, but I do see what you mean, like the similarities of their game and the fact that they do play the same position.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. Who knows? Part of me is torn. I partially want to see the rest of the season happen, but I understand with everything going back up and the rates of the cases going back up, and it seems like we're about to get put on another shutdown. I don't think we will, but I don't know. And I just want them to be healthy overall, ultimately. So if they play, cool. If they don't play, cool as well. Like, I just want a season next year is what I care for. If we don't get a season for the rest of the year, that's fine. Just want a season next year. I know baseball's coming back next month as well. So that's supposed to be starting on 23rd as well. 23rd, 24th. So who knows? We'll see.
I wonder how the players are taking that the pay cut that they're about to receive for the MLB players. I wonder how they're going to accept it.
They're from what we're hearing in the reports and the rumors, they're frustrated. But at the same time, MLB gets paid the most out of any sport ever, like in the history of sports. Like we talk about NBA contracts, but MLB contracts are ridiculous. What'd you say?
So they got long money. That's the old history money right there.
Like you remember,
they got the same dollar bills.
You remember last summer, and everybody was signing a $400 million contract, $350 million contract, $300 million contract. Yeah, it was a lot of years behind it. It was like $300 million for 10 years. That's $300 million, though.
300 years. $330 million a year. Damn, fucked up that.
Like, that's a lot of money. So I don't really feel bad for you when y'all are some of the richest athletes ever, some of the richest people ever. Like, one big major contract for MLB player, and the next 4 generations are set for life. Nobody has to work. Everybody just has to get a high school diploma for the next 4 generations off of what your great-grandfather did in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I'm not really mad at them taking a pay cut. Like, I understand they're frustrated. I understand that from an athlete's perspective. You're frustrated, you want your money, because the owners are just holding the money, and they're the ones getting most of the cash and most of the payola. So I understand your frustration on that aspect. But I don't know. Who knows? How do you feel? By the way, I called it. I should have called it on the podcast, but I called it to you specifically. How do you feel about Cam Newton going to the Patriots?
It makes sense. That is one of the teams that I could put on the record saying that they need a quarterback, and Stidham can't. Everybody sees it. Stidham is not the guy. They don't expect him to be the guy. that they do at least want to be competitive and keep that same Patriot. I don't want to call it a dynasty because that ship is sailed. That is over. It's time to rebuild. Cam Newton's gonna be a good bridge onto the future. Now, does that mean they're going to get like a quarterback in this next year's draft? Maybe. I don't know. But for this time being, they're going to run with Cam Newton until it's time to scrap this whole project.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised on how much he got paid, though, how the contract that they gave him. It is literally less than the backup quarterback. What was his name? It's the backup quarterback for, I believe, the Lions.
Chase Daniels.
I see you already knew where I was going there.
Yep. Chase Daniels' contract that he signed was for 10.5, roughly. I mean, he's supposed to be getting 10.5 throughout the entire contract. Mm-hmm. And what Cam Newton and what Jameis Winston signed together is supposed to be $10.3 million.
Right.
That's what they're both getting from two different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston, former Heisman, former national champion, had a really good rookie season in the NFL. Had a shaky after his rookie season in the NFL, but still pretty good. Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl, NFL MVP, won a Heisman, won a national championship in college. Need I continue? Won Rookie of the Year in the professionals. Like, it's Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Chase Daniels. Like, you don't even see my hand. That's how far of a drop off. And it's like, and then I just read a report earlier. Cam Newton said he never wanted to leave Carolina. He always has love for Carolina, will always have love for Carolina. There's just a business decision. And I partially understand the business decision in the fact that from in the business aspect of sports, you want to get rid of your athlete roughly about 2 years before they reach their decline. So if they got 2 more good years left, you might keep them for one of the 2 years, but you don't want to keep them for both of the 2 years because you want to get something in return, such as a draft pick, such as money in return for giving him to someone who needs him more. That way it doesn't look like we had a major drop-off and then he's no good no more and we can't get any type of return on investment for him. So I get it from that aspect. I think he's going to do really good in New England, and it actually opens up Bill Belichick's offense. Bill Belichick was the last coach who had a serious pocket passing quarterback. Every other quarterback is kind of mobile, can kind of wiggle a little bit. The last true kind of 2 pocket passing quarterbacks is, besides Tom Brady, is Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. The Drew Brees can even scramble for a little bit.
I was going to throw Big Ben in that conversation too.
Well, Peyton Manning's not playing anymore, so.
I said Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben.
Oh, Big Ben. Oh, yeah, you're right. But Big Ben can take a hit though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he can fall forward too and get you 5 yards.
So I know he's not really like Big Ben's a pocket passer, but when you're that big, it's okay to be quote unquote pocket passer.
Okay, standing in the pocket for a long period of time.
He can take a beating and be okay. But as opposed to somebody that's kind of more fragile, such as like a Tom Brady. But needless to say, I said all that to say, it opens up their offense now for New England because now you have a mobile quarterback. You have a mobile quarterback who can throw with the best of them. I still think he's in top 15 quarterbacks in the league right now.
With those deep passes. I feel like that's probably that should be good, especially with N'Keal Harry. That's more his style anyway. He's a bigger receiver, just had to throw it up to go jump and get it.
Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to be coming back off his injury as well.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they should try to develop a better tight end to give Cam Newton more help along with the offense. You make it sound like Bill Belichick is going to start doing the fumble Ruski now with his mobile quarterback.
I don't know, but I mean, you got to think about it. He's always had his offense was always predicated off of a decent offensive line and a really smart quarterback, and they ran a lot of underneath routes, a lot of rub routes, a lot of like double routes, like a slant and go, play. Not really, but it was never really a whole lot of play action within that offense because you don't have a mobile quarterback to properly run that play action. And then the running backs were never top tier running backs. Like they always had a running back that was decent for a year. Like Burkhead was always decent for a year. Sonny Michel was decent his rookie season. Now he's kind of You know what I'm saying? Like they never really had that open, spread the field out type of offense. They always just dink and dunk their way until you started cheating your safeties up, or he can read that one safety was a little bit higher, which gave you the notion that it's cover 3. Because if one safety is a little bit on the inside of the hash and he's 15 yards, another safety is 12 yards and he's on the opposite side of the hash, it's just, I can easily tell that that's cover 3, or at least cover 1.
Smoking like a true DB, or you gonna start teaching the kids something new to Deion Sanders?
We can get to that a little bit later. I'm just saying. I mean, NFL safeties and college safeties are lined up a little bit deeper than 12 to 15 yards, but that's because they have that option of a deep threat. You usually only have like high school to some college safeties line up around that yard mark, but we don't have to get into actual coaching right now or what you're seeing on the field. I just threw that out there.
Let me ask you this. You're talking about how a player's peak and prime, you want to get rid of them by the second year before they start to decline out of their peak. Do you believe that's what happened with the Houston Texans when they traded D-Hop? Now, granted, there was some beef behind that as well. But I'm talking about what they think, using that same principle to get the most out of their money as they could. If they think a D-Hop is on decline, I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of scared what how he's going to perform and play when next season comes, if that's how you're thinking.
See, I would say yes if I knew that they got something better in return. David Johnson, it was only good for 2 seasons at running back. That's not like when you compare the two, because it was a straight up like even trade. It was like David Johnson for D-Hop, and everybody take D-Hop in a heartbeat over David Johnson. Even if you need a running back, let's say like you're this close to winning the Super Bowl, all you need, or at least building a Super Bowl contender team, and all you need is a running back, but D-Hop is available, but you have a great receiving core, you're still going to take D-Hop because he's available. And then you're just going to do what you can do with that running back position. One more time, you're breaking up on me.
You find something better.
Wait. Repeat it. Repeat that one more time.
Point what I said. I said I need better insurance. Better internet. I can't fix the laptop. It's stuck like that because that's how it's charging.
Oh. Anyway, and we're back. So we're on to the reoccurring segment, and we are on the AFC West. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. And we're going to start with the Denver Broncos. And this is their opening schedule. Yo, I'm not going to lie, their first 3 games are kind of hard. Even though I haven't really looked at their schedule yet all the way. We're looking at it live together. But those first 3 games are pretty tough.
It's only tough. It's going to be tough just looking at the fact that the second two games is really going to be their best chance to win. Like the Steelers game, they have a good chance to win. I don't think they're going to win that Titan game though. That's for sure not happening.
Yo, they have a pretty solid schedule. Their schedule's kind of hard because, like, I see. Do we want to count the losses, or we want to get to the games?
If you count the losses is going to pile up pretty quick. Tampa Bay game, I feel like that's going to be the one game that's going to show who they really are, if they really have some backbone in them or not. Because if you remember throughout the season last year, the Denver Broncos was not a good pass rushing team. And then when they get to week 3, if they still can't rush the pass, if they still can't get to Tom Brady, then this is going to be another recurring year from last year.
And they're in Mile High.
And they're home too. See, they got to come through with that game. They got to show that they can rush the quarterback.
I don't know. I mean, I want to say their toughest games are the first three.
But then you got week 7. You can't say the Chiefs ain't going to be the toughest one. They got to play them twice a year.
Well, actually, it might be this 3 because I don't really like to say their opening game. I know we did earlier in the podcast and several episodes ago, but I don't really like to say like their opening games are the toughest because a team's still trying to find their identity. Like, yeah, they may have been really bad at the pass rush last year, but Von Miller and what's his name? Is it Chubb?
Yep, Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb. Because Bradley Chubb got injured. He can come back, and then their pass rush be like a fortitude. And that's what they're building their defense off of this upcoming season. But they won't really find that out until like the second half of week 3. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe they may win against Tom Brady at home and the Bucs, or they may lose. Who knows? But I think these 3 games right here that we have posted up are pretty solid because you have to win the Chargers, and you got to at least, if you want to make the playoffs, you got to beat the Chiefs at least one time. You got to split the difference with the Chiefs. You got to blow out the Chargers both times, and you have to either blow out or split the difference with the Raiders if you're trying to make the playoffs.
Right.
And they have a really solid team. Like, the Chargers are okay, but they have a rookie quarterback, so I don't really know about that. I don't really have the Chargers being too hot, but I don't know.
See, if you do the research, most of the teams that won their championship was when their quarterback was on a rookie contract and they have enough money to afford other pieces while their quote-unquote future quarterback is still potentially grown. Now, am I saying the LA Chargers is going to make the championship or make Super Bowl? No, not even close. Not even close. But you know, they will show glimpses. They will show signs that they are a team that's growing, that's going to become something. This defense is relatively still intact. So if Drew Lock can pick that team apart, not necessarily split the difference, but actually win both games, will show that, okay, the Denver Broncos deserve to make the playoffs. But that's still a marquee game for them to win, let alone being inside their own division.
Very true. So I'm going to go out here on the whim. I say they win 8-8. I say the Denver Broncos go 8-8 this season.
So do they make the playoffs, or they're the first team out?
No, they're out. They're out of the playoffs. I don't have them making the playoffs.
Yeah, relatively, I'm the same boat. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. But you know, to take it a step further, I do see them going 7-9. 7-9. It's okay. That's not their year this year. This Drew Lock will become better. He will show his upside. But this will not be a Broncos year.
Very true.
We'll talk about that. Now, with that being said, KC.
I love this game right here. Yeah. Now I like this one too because Cam Newton. Without Cam Newton, it was just like an eh. But with Cam Newton,
it'll be a good. They're gonna have good practice on how to deal with Cam Newton with the Ravens game.
I don't know. Now that we'll get to it in a second. We'll cover it, but
their schedule is a lot easier compared to the Broncos.
Oh yeah, their schedule is pretty much like a cakewalk.
Exactly. You have to play Dolphins, Falcons.
You really only play how many hard teams, really?
I counted 4. Actually, I counted 4. You have 2 right there with the Buccaneers. You got the Patriots and the Ravens.
Yeah, you really got like 4 hard teams, playoff teams that made the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. They play about 6 playoff teams.
If I remember correctly, I think it's 7. Because you have the Texans,
the Texans, Baltimore, New England, Buffalo, New Orleans. Okay, that's it. Anyway, I don't know what their hardest 3 games is back to back.
Right.
Because they have such a cakewalk throughout most of the season.
Exactly. Like it's well, I mean, if you want to count division play, you know, until you play a team enough times, then you can consider right here since you do got to play the Raiders. At least you're home though.
Well, no, not on this one.
Ooh, you're not.
They're in Vegas, so they're in Vegas and they're in Tampa Bay, and they gotta come back home and play the Broncos.
So two away games. I wouldn't say key, but you know, two.
And they can lose because we gotta like. I understand Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that we've seen before, and I also understand that he has the strongest arm in football right now because I don't know what the hell Colin Cowherd was talking about. That had to be one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen from a sports person because that was just utterly ridiculous. Like, I do like Russell Wilson's arm. But Russell Wilson cannot make a left-handed throw. So first off, scrambled to the right, rolled back out to the left was either a Monday or a Thursday night game, put the ball in his left hand, and then shovel past it, I think 6 yards down the field for a first down.
And it was Thursday night game.
And it was in against the Broncos in Mile High.
That pass rush was
in Mile High. Like, it's an away game, and you did a shovel pass with your left hand. Then, for shits and giggles, you throw a sidearm across your body, no-look pass to your tight end, who's like 7 yards down the field. But if you really count from where you threw it from one hash to the other hash, like past the other hash, as he was running a shallow route across the field, but he doesn't have a strong arm. Okay. We're not even talking about like all the deep throws he throws. I'm just saying the difficulty and the accuracy of these throws. But that's neither here nor there.
My only thing for Patrick Mahomes, he needs to stay injury-free as possible. He did get hurt in last year's game against the Colts. That kind of put the whole idea that maybe the chance that she probably can't get it done this year. Because that's what made me believe that it was more towards the Ravens. Because that simple fact that he got hurt, and I believe it was week 5 or 6 of last year. This game is these 3 games we're talking about right now is in week 11. Hopefully he is not get hurt. He can start hitting his stride early, so that way he doesn't have to wait until what was last season? It was about like week 13 or week 14 when they started like putting together these streaks of wins back to back.
True. Okay, so regardless whether he gets hurt or not, he's still gonna get the biggest contract that we're ever gonna see in NFL history after this season. And I don't agree with everybody else saying they're going back to the Super Bowl. It's extremely hard to do that. Like, they barely won the Super Bowl.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. And if the Tennessee Titans played how the Tennessee Titans should have played,
they should have got bounced.
Then the Kansas City Chiefs probably wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl because Tennessee Titans abandoned what they got there with. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm not hating on the Chiefs. I'm just trying to point out some facts here. I do believe that the Chiefs are going to go 12-4 this season, though.
I had them going 14-2. Like they're gonna put in work. They're gonna put in work against these teams, so they're gonna beat down on a division. That's the division games. I see that coming. But like I said, their strength of schedule is not that hard. They should be able to win. They should be able to win the close games that they're supposed to win the games they're supposed to win, and they're gonna win the tough games that come out with like a very marginal win. So 14-2 is how I'm calling it.
I say 12-4. I think that they lose to the Ravens and maybe one other team outside their division. And then I think they split a game either with the Raiders. Actually lose 3 games outside of their division. And I think they split a game either with the Raiders or they split a game with the Broncos. I got to see. I don't think that they're sweeping through their division like that.
Those are signs of championship quality, though. If they can sweep through the whole
you can sweep through your division, then that is championship quality. But it's really hard to repeat and to go back to another Super Bowl after you've already been, especially the very next year.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
So we got a number 1 team. What about this one? What about the Bolts, the other team in LA?
Their New Jerseys are ugly too.
But did you see that Western Colorado alumni right there? Oh, you missed it too.
No, I missed it. My bad. Do you want me to go back, sir?
Sorry, I got you. Shout out to Austin Eckler for everybody. Shout out to the man. Fun fact, I did not think he was that short. Still funny, though.
Okay, here we go.
Is it weird that when they played the do you see? All right, let me ask you this. Let me ask you before you jump away. Do you believe that the Chargers are going to make a good jump this year? Do you think Herbert's first year will be on par to how Andrew Luck took his team to the playoffs his first year? If you don't like the Andrew Luck analogy, I got more if you want.
Are you looking at the same schedule I'm looking at?
Mm-hmm.
No, not with this schedule. Yikes.
That's what I was worried about. The team, I don't think the team has good defense. I just don't feel like they have enough weapons yet. I don't feel like they have enough weapons. Well, not weapons. I don't think Herbert's going to hit the wall. He's going to hit the wall sooner rather than later. And that's what I'm kind of worried about.
I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to have at least 8 years in the league, which is pretty good.
Yes.
Average is 5.
After that rookie year, usually out. Out of the rookie contract, usually out of as quarterback.
So I don't know. I see some decent wins, but it's like win, loss, loss.
Right.
Win,
loss. That's gonna be a loss. But guess what? That's gonna be
like it's like
this is the team that's gonna show. This is gonna show if they deserve to be in the playoffs right there, week 11. The fact that you got to contemplate and think about this, what's about to happen, because they're gonna lose. I see them losing week 12, and they're gonna be in a fight week 13. But I feel like remember I said about that wall. That wall is gonna hit on week 13, and they're just gonna go back to back. And 2 losses is gonna really mess Herbert up.
Yeah,
so
this is tough. I see them going 6-10.
Okay, that's about right. 5-11. That's what you're saying. Like they're that one game that they should have won. They lost because of let's say like late game interception, or let's just say something very minute like a missed field goal.
Mm-hmm. I do see a lot of dog fights in this schedule. If they want to win, I think all of their wins are going to be dog fight wins.
And it's kind of little, but it's kind of an eye opener at the fact that I see most of their dog fights outside of the Chiefs are going to be those 2 division games against the Raiders and the Broncos.
Yeah. So on to the boys in black. I just want to let you know,
got a new home.
I've drove by this place, this stadium. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I think it's huge.
I haven't seen a whole lot of other NFL stadiums. Like I've seen a few other NFL stadiums in my lifetime. I haven't seen the inside of this place, but the outside of this place is absolutely beautiful. I love this new stadium. Just throwing that out there.
And how it's going to look at nighttime too. Like you can tell the lights is going to be shining. It's going to be almost equivalent to like another version of the Strip. It's going to be a nice detour right when you're going through Las Vegas.
It's literally right off the Strip. Like as you're driving down the Strip, it's like Allegiant Stadium, T-Mobile Arena. It's just like boom, boom. Like they're not right next to each other, but it's just like they're both right there.
Right, they're both in like view, like eye view when you're driving. I drove past it on our way back from Colorado. It was nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Mm-hmm. The boys in black. Yikes. Their opening 2 games is rough. Ooh, maybe even opening 3 games because Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray. Ooh. I'm stupid. Look at that says.
I was gonna egg you on too.
No. I caught myself.
If you happened before, I was going.
Sometimes they put at the bottom. Sometimes they put the preseason at the bottom. It's not my fault.
It goes left to right. No. The last one with the Chargers, it showed it going
at the bottom.
Nah, this shit's bad. You're about to get made fun of on national TV.
Whatever. Ooh. Yikes. This is a tough one right here.
And it's attacking the defensive side too. That's why those two games. 3 games. 3 games is gonna be a defensive struggle.
Ooh. From week 2 to week 5. Good Lord. Ooh.
I do not see the Raiders taking that many L's back to back like that.
I don't. But that's rough. Out of all the schedules we've seen so far, you've seen a harder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Have you seen a harder 5 games?
I'll admit, those are all playoff caliber teams. Those are very hard games. I do not. There's no way they're gonna go 5. They're gonna 0-5 through that stretch of games inside their new season.
No, they're not gonna be 0-5 through these stretch of games.
I see them taking at least something out of those games. It's still weird to me though. Do you still believe Derek Carr is a top 10 quarterback though?
No.
Still not. So I did the math. I did the research.
Okay.
I have to admit, the numbers he put up may not be home run hitters like how we see like Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes. They're not home runs, but they are the decent plays that help build a quarterback up. He do have the numbers to match. He has what Jameis Winston has last season, except a lot less interceptions. A lot less interceptions, but very high completion rate.
I agree. He's a good quarterback still. But remember what we talked about earlier in this podcast? You get rid of a player 2 years before their prime is up. He's ticking. They should have got rid of him. If they wanted to get a valuable pick for him or some valuable assets for him, they should have got rid of him this offseason.
So what you're saying is they get something back to get something better in return. You meant get rid of him last year.
Get rid of him. They should have got rid of him this offseason before everybody was trying to buy up all their backup quarterbacks or buy up their starting quarterbacks. And they should have went after somebody as the likes of Cam Newton this offseason.
But just remember, Kaepernick still said he will come back. He will come back to play if somebody gives him a chance.
And there are teams that are looking and talking to Kaepernick. There's been a total of 7 teams that are talking to him. So we'll see. I don't want to divulge completely into it. I'll give it another week before we divulge into it. But I just think that they're doing it to save face because there's still protests going on. There's still a lot of stuff going on. So I think that they're trying to do that just so they don't look as the big bad NFL. So we'll see. Because I've seen the smoke and mirrors before. We've seen it several times with Kaepernick. I know we usually do their hardest schedule or do the grit of the playoff fight as their 3 games. Week 1 to week 7, to me, son.
Yeah, that's.
Well, week 2 really, because week 1 is a win. That's a dub.
Think like this. Week 1 is to make sure everything is in order because after that we are in for the fight. You got New Orleans at home. You got to go to New England. You got Buffalo at home, so at least you get to go back. You got to stay there. KC in Kansas City.
I'm gonna go out on the limb. I think the Raiders are gonna have one of the toughest stadiums to play at because it's new. I think the fans are gonna be loud. I think it's gonna be a lot of them. I think they're gonna close the dome in at the top of it for most of these games. Yeah. I think it's gonna be real aggressive. I'll go out on a limb here. I know I said that. I didn't say this before, but I'm gonna say it now. I think they beat New Orleans week 2 and surprise some people and give New Orleans a hiccup. And so I go back against what I said New Orleans' schedule was and all that. I know what I said this previous before, but I think they beat Buffalo week 4, and I think they beat Tampa Bay week 7.
So you literally just said they're going to come through this whole week unscathed. Every single one of those games unscathed.
I think their first 3 home games they win.
Okay.
If you want to establish dominance at home in your brand new stadium, you have to win those first 3 home games. It's a must that you win these first 3 home games against these playoff caliber teams. If you want to be like true to like your history, I see them going 9-7.
Right on the button. I was in the same boat.
I see the Raiders going 9-7.
I see this team actually being the first team, the last team in. If I'm talking about the playoffs.
You see them being the 7th seed in the playoffs?
But they made it though. Now, depending on who they play against, it's gonna matter if they make it to the week after that or not. But 9-7, yeah, that's where I see them go.
I can see them if they can break even on their first 7 games, or if they can win 4 games on their first 7, or at least manage to win 3 games on their first 7. The rest of the season isn't as rough. I can see them during their playoff stretch, trying to make the playoffs from week 8 on.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them winning out. Maybe not winning every game, because I see that they can possibly lose to the Chiefs.
But they're at home against the Chiefs.
But they could. I'm saying they could possibly lose. But if they can win out from week 8, that's playoff caliber.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, what is that? That's 7-game win streak.
So it's a possibility. I don't know.
Right. I got you. I'm saying like the fact that all these losses they accumulated at the beginning, like before week 7, they can make it back up with the remaining games. They have a good chance of making up those losses in the remaining season. I see it.
I don't know. I know we're about to wrap this podcast up, but week 14, I don't know.
But hey, like I said, they're at home. If the black hole 2.0 is going to be that good, then we will see when that week comes.
Who knows? But that has been another edition of the 2 Brothers podcast. It's your boy Jizza. It's that dirty little fan hanging outside the Wu-Tang bus over there. And we are out.